Hey everybody, it's Robot here from scooterwest.com and Vespa Motorsport here in San Diego. What have we got here? Oh, it's the new 2018 GTS 300s in both the standard GTS trim and also the Super and the Super Sport trim. I just want to go over some of the changes. If you've been following the Vespa 300s for the last years, you could see all three of these scooters are new colors for 2018. Pretty exciting new colors. I like to see new colors because I kind of see them every day, so seeing the new colors kind of like something fresh, something different, even though essentially it's a pretty close to the same bike as the 2017. This yellow scooter here, it's in the flat finish, much like the titanium gray that they've had for several years and the flat black. So it's a yellow paint job with a flat clear coat. That's a completely new color for the Vespa lineup. I can point out some of the other trim differences. They've gone to the red grille on it. The front wheels are now all black with the S sticker on there. That sticker is available as a spare part. Kind of looks good with the all black wheels versus the two-tone wheels or the silver wheels found on the other 300 models. And on the Super Sports, they have the bumblebee stripes. So that's what I call them. I'm not sure what they're technically called. Each of the three different variations of models for the 2018s have different seats. You can see the Super Sport comes with a pleated kind of velour material on the driver's section of the seat. White stitching, white piping, much like they've done on all the other Supers and Super Sport 300s. And you can see also the gauge cluster is all black with white and red backlighting on it. And on the glove box, there's a new badge that they've featured. It's kind of the bumblebee stripes, as I call them, with the S. Kind of looks cool. That's also available as a separate spare part. So if you have an older Super, nice little touch to add to it. Here we have the GTS 300 in the GTS trim, kind of the original Gran Turismo style scooter, you know, carried over from the GT 200 to the GTS 250. This carries kind of the same feel, the touring feel for the Vespa lineup. And this is the new blue that's also found on the Primavera. Every single Primavera that's come through the, we received is sold within a couple days. It's been quite a popular color. You can see the seat on this has got like a pebble grain brown. It's a leather look. It's a vinyl material, but it's got kind of a leather look that's unique to the GTS trim for the 2018. The badges have been simplified, just GTS. They include the silver wheels, which have been found ever since, you know, on the GT 200 ever since 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. So kind of the same style wheels they've been using for several years. Includes the rear rack, the folding rack and grab rail, which is something the Super and Super Sport don't include. This scooter's also been accessorized with the rear crash bars. It's got the front accessory bar that goes around the fender, windshield, some of our lighting upgrades on it, and also a RAM mount for your cell phone. And I can show you the speedometer. It's got more of a classic look instead of the red that's found on the Super. It's a blue and white backlighting for the instrumentation on this scooter. And here's the Vespa GTS 300 Super in the limited edition metallic green. It's kind of like looks like you're going to bite into a candy apple. We gave this scooter the nickname the Incredible Hulk because it's green and black. Keep in mind all the black trim that we've added to this scooter is aftermarket accessories that we sell. They include the same wheels they've been doing for the last 3 years for the Super, which is a black gloss black wheel with a spun aluminum edge on them. Out of all the colors they've released for 2018, this is my favorite color. And we had some fun accessorizing it before it hits the showroom. Had a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people kind of like, oh, well, what's the black and green correlation? Well, Alex says the Incredible Hulk. For sports, I guess you could say the Boston Celtics. What else? There's an NHL team. I think the Dallas Stars for the hockey league. What else? I don't know if you added yellow or something there. It could be the Portland Timbers. What other teams are there? There's some other ones that have green and yellow. Oh, I think the Ducks, the Oregon Ducks also is green, yellow, and black. No yellow on this bike, but I don't know. I just got like coming up with color schemes that, I don't know, match something that's already out there. If you added a little bit of red, well, it already has the red. It's got the red taillight. You could say it's the flag of Libya or Kenya, green, black, and red. I don't know. That's enough of my nonsense with overthinking the colors here. But you can see the black works pretty well with this candy green. We pretty much changed everything that was chrome out, with exception to this bezel, which we do have available. And just like the Super Sport, it's got red backlighting on the instrumentation. And from what I understand, this was a very limited release, this color, for the United States. Maybe other markets, they have more of them out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if these go pretty fast. Same with the yellow. It's kind of a pretty new and exciting color. Flat finish, kind of either love or hate it. Definitely looks sharp, kind of gives the scooter a different look with the flat finish found on the yellow. But at the expense, it's a little harder to keep clean detail with the flat finish versus a gloss paint job. They can keep up pretty easily. So for the 2018 models, they've also include the side stand, which has always been an accessory available for the Vespa GT range. And it stays down. If you're familiar with other ones, they kick back up as a safety feature. These include a safety switch that shuts the motor off. So when you kick the side stand down, shuts the motor down, and you could step away from the scooter. I'm going to go into some of the technical features. I know it bores some people, but I'm a nerd. I kind of like little changes, technical updates. Most people like the visual updates, but I'll go over the changes from the 2017 to the 2018. I'll start with the front. They went back to the older style fork design. You know, just the traditional Vespa trailing link suspension. It's been tried and true. I'm not sure why they went away from the reverse linkage or whatever. I don't know what the specific name is, but on the 2015, 16, and 17, they had a fork that was very similar to the fork found on the Vespa Sprint and Primavera. And for 2018, they went back to the more traditional style fork. It's got the anti-lock brakes front and rear, which has been found on the GTS range ever since 2015. As I suggested, they've done some changes to the wheels, the grille. They've made some changes. Same style horn cover, but the grille now has different detail colors on it. A big change on the handlebars is the front and rear handlebar covers have been completely re-engineered. The fitment seam is much better than the older style handlebars. They no longer have the little covers that go over the reservoirs. To do a brake flush, you'd pull the front handlebar cover, which isn't that difficult. I'll tell you, those reservoir covers, I'm happy to see that they're gone because they're quite a popular seller for us because a lot of people break them. They're very fragile. Definitely gives the scooter a much cleaner look without the little covers that went over these brake reservoirs on both sides. Mirrors have changed. You can see they have a new style mirror. You can lift up the rubber if you need to tighten it without taking the reservoir cover off. So if you've worked on an older Vespa GTS, you need to loosen the reservoir cover just to tighten the mirror nut. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So they've updated that, much like the Vespa LX and Sprint. Primavera. Much better design for tightening the mirrors, which is something you may need to do on the road or whatever. You know, there's likely to come loose a little bit. The speedometer has changed a little bit. Kind of a fun little thing that a lot of motorcycles do is it now does the sweep of the needle as a self-test. They separated the check engine light is now separate from the ASR, which is the traction control system. The traction control indication is now in the LCD odometer there. There was some confusion the way they had it set up before. And on the switch gear, they now added a separate switch that controls the traction control system. So you can, on the fly, you can turn the traction control on or off depending on the situation. I'm also going to have a video coming up soon talking about the traction control system. We get quite a few calls about what it does, how it works, or when there's problems with it, or somebody has a flat tire, the scooter's not very rideable with the traction control. Now it's much easier to turn on and off with a separate switch versus the older models you'd use the start switch, which wasn't very intuitive unless you knew that was the feature. On the key, there's two changes that they made. The key pretty much looks the same, but now includes this, they call it bike finder, but it does two functions. There's 4 buttons on it. One button, the little unlock, pops your seat remotely, and the one that looks like a horn flashes your turn signals. They call that a bike finder feature. I guess if you had your Vespa GTS parked in a sea of 20 other Vespa GTSs, you can find it a little easier. We've ordered these bike finders. It's a pretty easy retrofit on older models. Not plug and play compatible. We've changed them up to make them where they're very easy to install on older GTSs. Pretty neat little feature. I added this to my BV350, my own personal BV350. Latest BV350s also include the little bike finder. Over here on the key, they've added a extra position on the lock. This is lock steering. So the key comes out, the steering is locked, so it'd be very difficult for somebody to walk off with a scooter. You can't push the lock to open the glove box, and it disables the electric actuator for the seat pop there. Second position there is just closed. You pull the key out. You can't open the seat. You can use the bike finder to do so, but the key comes out. This is much like an accessory position found on, I don't know, an automobile car. And now you can open the seat, you can open the glove box. Much like the earlier models, there's a USB charging port inside the glove box. But what we found is it doesn't charge all that fast. It's not all that useful being in the glove box. It'd be great if you want to leave your phone in the glove box. But it is there for charging. There's some rumors that they didn't include a toolkit. 2018 does still have the toolkit in there. And the last position is power on, ignition on, start the scooter. I'm not sure why they added the extra position on the key versus the older style ones. I guess it's more of a security feature. So you can pull the key out but leave the seat and glove box locked without locking the handlebars for some reason. Keep people out of the 2 storage compartments on it. For Europe, they've updated the whole Vespa range and Piaggio range for the most part. For 2017, all of the scooters over 125, I think, have to meet the Euro 4 emissions and noise standard. It's a very strict standard in many ways. It's stricter than the very strict California standard for emissions. Pretty much everything that's imported to the United States also meets those same standards. Across the board, they've made some changes to the muffler, mostly internal. I noticed they don't have the stainless steel little tip on the end. Stuff you'll never see, but you know, the Euro 4 standard, the engines are a little bit quieter and they pollute a little bit less. You know, they've been able to tighten up the emissions from them. And therefore doing so, they've made a lot of changes to how the engine management is handled. It's not anything that the end user would notice, but the ECU is a completely new part number. The whole wiring harness and the position of a lot of the components has been changed. If you looked at other Vespa GTSs, you could see that the wiring has changed around quite drastically. You know, it's actually much nicer. Everything's routed a lot nicer than what they've done in the past, which is a good change, especially coming from the GTS 250, where they had some wiring problems with those scooters several years ago. Of course, they're starting to show up now where they need wiring harnesses, but they've improved a lot of the electrical parts on this and wiring. Voltage regulator is now located near the battery. Not that anybody needs to service that. They're quite reliable on the 300s. On the 250s from 2007 to 2009, those did have problems with the voltage regulator. It's not a very easy job to do. They put German-style hose clamps for the coolant, which is something they should have did several years ago, because I have seen the one-time use hose clamps pop off in the past and cause coolant loss. But the overall engine architecture is pretty much the same. There's a lot of other little changes. The O2 sensor is different. You know, just small technical update, you know, changes. When it comes time to sell spare parts for these scooters, are a little bit different than prior years of the GTS 300. But having the bike finder, the updated look to the handlebars, that's definitely a welcome improvement over the previous models. Hope all you guys like the little update on what they've done to the GTS 300 range. It's pretty unbelievable, but this range has been in production essentially since I think right around 2003, somewhere in there is when the GT200 was introduced. It's pretty much one of the longer lasting ranges of the Vespa lineup. If you look at the ET4, it pretty much had a 10-year production lifespan. The LX was a little bit less than that. Now we're into the Primavera Sprint. But this body style of scooter is, you know, has had the testament of time. It's a very loved model for the modern Vespas. And it's had several updates over the years, whether it's the engine size, carburation to fuel injection, and all the small aesthetic updates they've done over the years. You might look at some of our other videos. We've done reviews on the prior models of the Vespa GTS 300s, you know, talking about the differences from prior years, you know, 2014 to 2015 and so on. Hope everybody liked it. See you guys next time.